All right, let's get on to it. This is the next conversation of this fine Monday morning. And I know that you will be interested in this because this is about you and your children. If you're a parent or a parent-to-be, this conversation is about you. But now, not just for us as parents, but also all of us as Kenyans. On Family Check, let's have a conversation about children's protection and safety. We all play a key role when it comes to child protection and safety. And there is no other better person that can have this conversation with me than the one and only Mwambi Mongare, who is the Deputy Director from the Children Department Services from the Directorate of Children's Services.
Yes, sir.
Karibu sana.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much for coming.
Okay, yes.
All right. And next to me, to my far left, I'm with Jack Matika. You know him, the sociologist from Koinonia Community. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. Koinonia Community.
Nimesema
Koinonia
Community. Yes, that's what I wanted to say. Koinonia Community.
Thank you.
And gentlemen, it's a pleasure.
Yes.
Children protection is very important. And first things first, let's talk about this thing that has been in my mind for all this time. And children are in my heart. The plight of street children. That's where I want to start it from. How can we ensure that our street children are well taken care of? It is still an issue that needs to be addressed. Let me start with you, Bona Deputy Director.
Thanks for inviting us in the first place. As you have heard, my name is Mwambi Mongare, Deputy Director of Children's Services from the Directorate of Children's Services. We used to be called a department, and now we are a directorate with 8 departments and with so many same autonomous government agencies. And when we talk about the pride of street children, and even we have changed the name, they are called children connected to the streets. Because there is no child who is born a street child.
So we should refer
they
to
are connected to the streets.
Connected to the streets.
As a ministry, we have established a street families rehabilitation fund, which is doing a lot in all towns in our republic, making sure that those children who are in the street, they are properly taken care of. However, the numbers, what has been discussed is a bit, we remove some of them, and if we remove 100, 300 come to the street to fill the vacuum which has been left. But already something is happening, and there are so many programs, even within the laws, within the Children Act of 2022, it talks about these are children who are in need of care and protection. That's section 144. So a lot is happening,
yes.
But we have not reached the optimum so that we clear our streets. But I think it's better that the Kenyans know, as we are fighting this war, we need support from everybody involved. The media, or ministries, or civil society. That's why we have Koinonia in the room today.
Yes. Because
we are doing a lot of work. Wherever we do any rescues, where do we procedural places of safety? And that's what we have been doing from the inception when these children came to the street. However, now that's why you call it the Street Families Rehabilitation Fund. It's not only for the street children connected to the streets. There are families connected to the streets. These children, some of them are accompanied by their families. Some are, you might find a father and a mother staying in the streets. Some you find is a single father or a single mother, and they are living in the streets 24/7.
Do you have the numbers at the moment? How far are we in terms of the numbers of families connected to the streets?
In the year 2018,
yes.
2018, we did a census in all towns. The numbers were a bit worrying, but they were not as what the people say. We had around 100,000 children connected to the streets in all our towns in the Republic of Kenya.
All right.
And from there...
allow me to interrupt you a bit, and then I'll come back on that.
Okay.
Because those are still sensitive matters.
Okay.
Let me come to you, Bwana Jack Matika. We have heard briefly from the Deputy Director. I'm looking into this sensitive case. When we're dealing with children connected to the streets, as now we refer them to us, and families connected to the streets, how remorseful should we be as Kenyans now? I'm looking into the aspect of how we treat and handle them. When we look at them as we are walking down the streets of Nairobi, or any other part of the country, how should you as a person expect us to handle them and treat them?
Thank you, my host,
Yes.
Bwana Ram. And to my right, my boss, Mongari. Thank you so much. As you studied, by name, I'm Jack Matika, and I work for Koinonia Community. So Koinonia Community are lay-based organizations that champion the spirits of Kenyan constitutions when you're talking about the rights to all, and especially the rights of children. In the Kenyan article, constitution, that is 37, it very much articulates and states the right to all, right to picket, right to education, right to different opinions, and all mention them. And so Koinonia Community comes in close with the monitoring of Directorate of Children's Services, who have been, and they are very good partners to us. And we work very close with them, addressing the spirit of the constitutions and putting more emphasis as Koinonia Community to the rights of those vulnerables that we are talking today.
Yes.
And therefore, I call upon, it's not Directorate of Children's Services alone. It is an duty to the entire nation. And on how can we as Kenyan, not as Director of Children's Services, how can we clean or do away or zero rate the issue of street family in our nation? It is a responsibility of me and you, my brother.
Yes.
And the approach to the street families as partners, Koinonia Community, we have interacted with street families, and as my boss said, we now refer to them as street connected persons. And so this is a population that Koinonia Community and the government of Kenya gives more attentions, because we believe in our partnership with them, we will manage and take these children and family out of this vulnerable situation to a place that they can call home, and a decent place they can live. Yes. We find many issues confronting the street connected persons. One is the attitudes and the perceptions between the society toward them. The society looks at these innocent people as people who are a burden. They look at them as people, you know, who need not to live, and so forth and so on. So with this kind of attitude, basically has made these populations to live very wild, and they get wild whenever they see you walking along the street, and that's the reason why they want to take what, because they see the society has made them to live who they live today.
And they feel rejected.
They feel rejected.
They feel like they've been left out
and that is the anger that many of them live today, thanks to the Director of Children's Services, the Street Rehabilitation Trust Funds, and the entire government of Kenya, because there is a call for collaborative effort to ensure that we are working as a team together, so that we treat these people with dignity, with the respect that they deserve. Yes.
And still, I'm looking at how we need to treat them. What are some of those things that you feel and we need to address this morning? Kenyans are watching. What are some of those areas that today we need to say it as it is and address these crucial matters from where you sit as a sociologist?
As well, one thing, our fabric, social fabric, has really worn out completely as a nation, and I think the globalizations, basically, we as a nation, basically, we need to see what can we borrow from the globalization, the new things that are coming on. As a nation, basically, we need to put more emphasis on who. You know, if we go back to our great-great-grandparents on how we were being nurtured, I think we will not have been today where we are. But the thing with the globalizations, I think the nations, and Kenya is one of them, we have borrowed everything, all the mess that we are in today. I think it's a moment where we as a nation we need to basically go back to our cultures, because a child belongs to a society. And today, as we talk, you know, as a sociologist, as an employee of Koinonia community and the value of Koinonia community, we believe as a community that there is a need for Kenyan to look at any time you meet a child in the street, you need to understand and greet that particular, and ask that particular child questions. Where are you coming from? But you see, with who we are today, it is only you and your children. Nobody else you want to listen about. You don't want to listen
to any other person.
To any other person.
And that's where we are getting it wrong.
That is where we are getting lost completely.
Let me come to you, Bona, Deputy Director.
Yes,
Still, let me take us a few. Let me rewind this tape.
Okay, proceed.
Now, back to I remember those days with the biro.
Yes.
Now, back to the numbers.
Yes.
You're mentioning those particular figures,
yes.
And as a directorate, I'm sure you've been looking at it and trying to find out how to work on these statistics.
Okay.
Can they be reduced? And how long do we need as a country to have these numbers reduced down? Is it possible even to get them down to zero? Help me understand that. Thanks,
Mr. Ram, for the issue you are raising before I answer your question. My colleague has quoted section Article 37 of the Constitution of 2010. That's the issue of children have a right. Every Kenyan has a right to picket, to petition, to whoever they want to petition it to. But I don't think that the children in the streets, they have ever picketed and they have never petitioned anywhere. The article which talks about the children's rights is Article 53, which talks that the child has a right to a name, has a right to proper nutrition, has a right to basic education, to be protected from, what do you call it, this, they call it something rapper, hazardous rapper, and we make sure that the children are properly taken. That's Article 53, sub Article 1E. That's where they then started beating us.
Okay.
Because if every parent who sires a child cares and protects for his or her children, we would not be where we are. I think the authors of the Constitution had seen it all. So the spirit of that article, it is said that every child has a right to be protected by his or her parents, both parents, not one. We know it's only Jesus Christ, we are told, who came through this one, through the evil, through the Holy Spirit. So whoever desires any child, whether it is a man, or either in wedlock or outside, that's what the Constitution says. Yes. And now it has been captured in the new Children Act of 2022, that the parental responsibility is for both parents.
Both parents.
That's when they really started beating us. The way my colleague has said from Koinonia, Mr. Matika, that the issue of the social fabric, the issue of we inherited, we did copying and the pasting, what the Westerners are doing, that's as rich as where we are. Now to your question, how can we reduce these numbers to zero? It is possible.
It is possible.
But first of all, the question we should ask ourselves, Mr. Ram, when did the rain start beating us? Which year? When was that day the first child slept in our streets? If we go back to that time, we are able to remove these numbers. As I told you, I've worked in many parts of this country. I was the county coordinator Kiambu. By the time I was there for 5 years. In Kiambu town, I can bear, even you can go there and ask. Yes. We didn't have even a single child connected to this. In Kiambu town, where the headquarters of Kiambu County is. But except now in Ruiru, in Rimuru, in Kikuyu, in Kapete, even in Wangige, you find children connected to the streets. Tika, Ruiru has the largest numbers, followed by Tika, when I was working in Kiambu. But I think where we went wrong, it is that when we raised the children to be on their own, parents became care. This of parenting is a very big issue because there is a lot of, I can call it kind of relationships. People don't care. They think they are playing a football match. Because when you are sleeping with somebody, obviously you should take care of the product you are only likely to bring out. So these numbers, the 100,000, the numbers are gone down to do the street families rehabilitation fund. So many children have been rescued. They have been placed in a place of safety. I can give the example of Nakuru. The year 2018, we rescued 100 children from the streets of Nakuru.
Which county?
Nakuru County.
Nakuru. Okay.
We place them in all places of safety. Including there are some children, what they call them, charitable children institutions, which were being funded by this fund, and all of them were properly placed in places of safety. 100 children. However, we had so many challenges when we came to the issue of identity. These children behave like true Kenyans. They have so many identities so that they don't have, like, now, you know, my name is Mwambi Mongara. If I can be traced. When we came to tracing and wanted to do reintegration, there was a crisis. Because we realized these children have more than 10 names in the streets. The names that are just with us are not the same names when we were finding the relatives.
Because they have to survive, they have to use different identities.
I can give an example. The MCA for Mauche within Nakuru County, when we went to visit one of the institutions where we had placed over 25 children, there is a boy who had got lost from Mauche area in the Maunarok area. You know, the MCA, when the MCA will go, we are taking them food, blankets, and everything. The MCA just recognized one of the two boys from his village. They have been looking for them for 2 years. When we look in the register, one had registered that he was Kimani when he was Kipugurui. The other one has registered with a Maasai name. I think it was only somebody when he was a Karenjin.
Yes.
So we were very happy that the code went to the Cast FM Rife, and the parents were contacted, and we integrated those children the following day to their parents.
I want us to bring this conversation to a close, and I will give you time to have a final word.
Yes.
Because of the interest of time. What is your call to action to all Kenyans concerning children protection and safety? And on this, I would like to start with you, Mr. Matika.
Well, I will want to repeat by saying that the issue of street family, it's not one entity alone. And their safety, as my boss from the Director of Children's Services, I've just quoted, looking at the chapter 53 of the Constitutions, it's articulated very well that children's rights, they're immediate and free, and they should be able to access all the basic needs they need. So I think it is not a choice, it is a call for all the stakeholders, the governments and the NGOs, to ensure that the issue of children are taken into account.
So all stakeholders should come into it.
It should be a conversation that you're talking about. The whole entire nation should make it a conversation so that this issue is addressed for all.
All right, Bona Deputy Director, I'll just give you a minute to have a final closing remark.
I think, as my colleague has put it, the Children Act 2022, I think it's good we read it to Kenyans. That's why I carried one.
You carried it?
Yes.
Read it.
It is set in the relation of the rights of the child. It does not talk about street children, because we don't discriminate, or children in Kenya. The states shall take measures to progressively achieve the full realization of the rights of the child set out in this act. Do you see? All rights for all children.
Thank you.
Children's rights are human rights.
Yes.
Our constitution, it is inside in our constitution, in various articles, in our whole chapter about the rights of everybody, and we should not discriminate.
Thank you so much.
And as we come into contact with these children, what we are discouraging as a directorate, please let us not give them harms. Because when you start providing for them, they will start, so it will the pull and push factors. You will find the numbers not going down, and the numbers will be going up.
All right, thank you so much. And I know that we will have more of these conversations even in future.
Yes.
We're saying don't give them arms.
Yes.
Yes.
There are other ways of managing and handling it.
Yes.
Bona Deputy Director, it has been a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks.
Asante sana. And Mr. Matika, thank you so much for coming, my brother. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Always is.
Thank you.
And it is on that note that we will bring this conversation to a close. My name is Ram Maguko. Let's take a short break. We still have yet one more conversation that you will love. Don't go too far.